Welcome to Dodgers Daily for Sunday, September 11th, a day of remembrance as we remember all of the victims of the 9/11 attacks from 2001. So I wanted to make sure that we all take a moment and we think about all those victims and the terrible events that happened that day. So 9/11, a day of remembrance. There was a lot of good action last night down on the farm in the Dodgers minor league system. Oklahoma City came up short. Tulsa brought out the bats again for the second night in a row. Great Lakes, they were playing a great game until the ninth inning. They had a 4-run lead going into the bottom of the ninth that they could not hold on to, and Rancho finished their doubleheader and lost both games yesterday. So although the wins and losses did not look great on the slate yesterday, there still was a lot of great action. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it, and let's take a trip down on the farm. Left-hander out of North Carolina, Michael Busch had 3 hits last night, which is his 37th multi-hit game of the year and the 9th time he's had at least 3 hits in a game. He's hitting .276 with an OPS of .875. He is just a wonderful young left-handed hitter. Just kind of as an antidote as how tough he is, I was talking to a guy who coached him in the Cape League, Tom Holliday, who used to be the head coach at Oklahoma State. And Tom and Randy Whistler coached him in the Cape Cod League, and they were telling a story about how he broke a finger. He didn't want to tell anybody. He kept playing with it, and he hit something like over 400 while he was doing it. Never told anybody, so he had never come out of the lineup. And Tom just kind of looked at me, and his exact quote about Busch was, "He is one of the toughest young men that I have ever coached," and that goes all the way back to the decade of the 70s. If you remember Oklahoma State in the 80s, they went to the College World Series 8 times in a row. They were in the finals like 3 different times. Never won one, unfortunately, but so Tom Holliday knows what he's talking about. An anecdote from him on Michael Busch on how tough he is. You know, he was an all-state shortstop growing up, and he planned on playing shortstop in college, but when he got to North Carolina as a true freshman, you know, North Carolina is so good in baseball under Mike Fox. They have really built a huge program there in Chapel Hill. The only spot that was available was first base, so he went over to first base just so he could get on the field. He hit so well, he played so well, he just never moved. So people who are worried about whether he can play the middle infield or not should not be worried about that. He grew up a shortstop, an all-state shortstop, planned on playing shortstop in high school, and he was the quarterback on their team, so he was very athletic. He also played hockey. So if you're worried about whether he can handle second base or not, don't. He is certainly athletic enough and good enough defensively to do so. James Outman had a 2-hit night, including his 29th double of the year. Outman is hitting .293 on the year. His OPS is .965. And he has 28 home runs. When you combine his offense that he's played this year for Oklahoma City and Tulsa, combined between those 2 locations, with the way that he plays defense, he has simply been elite this season. So I hope that he gets a call up towards the end and gets another look at the big level, because he is very, very good. Fringy 4-8 right-hander Hansel Robles threw 2/3 of an inning and was hitting 96 on his fastball, which is a tick down from what he's been throwing as of late. He threw 1 slider at 88. Robles has not allowed a run, and in 4 of his last 5 outings, so he's been pitching very well. Very curious to see what the club does with him. Veteran right-hander Carson Fulmer needed just 5 pitches to get through the 9th for Oklahoma City. Fulmer was 93 on his 4-seam. He threw 187-mile-an-hour changeup. He has 10 saves and an ERA of just 3.06. You know, things went sideways last month. That was the only month of the year where he has not been just completely dominant. So, you know, it's just kind of interesting to look at his stats. 3.06 is very good, but other than 1 month, if you look at every other month during the 6-month season for him, he has been dominant. So I'll be curious to see if, you know, another one of those fringy 4A guys, what the club does with him. Will they bring him up? Will they give him another look? He has that elite changeup, elite competitiveness. You know, he went to Vanderbilt. He was teammates with Walker Buehler, so you know he is very competitive, very smart, very talented. He was a first-round draft pick from the Chicago White Sox, and he has pitched just lights out all year, save for 1 month, which was last month, which was terrible timing for him. But I think, you know, if you look at the overallness of the season and you weigh in, you know, for the most part and for other than just one little stretch of the season, he's been great. I think he deserves a call up, and he has been very good, especially in the late innings. You see here, it's the 9th inning. He has closed a lot of games. He loves to have the ball in his hands with the game on the line. The Drillers got huge nights from Leonel Valera and Andy Pages and scored 2 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th to beat the Frisco Rough Riders, the AA affiliates of the Rangers, 10-7 Saturday evening. You're looking at Leonel Valera. He had 3 hits again for the second night in a row for the Drillers, including his 17th home run that you just saw. That was an absolute bomb. Valera is hitting .400 so far this month with 3 home runs, 16 RBIs, 12 runs scored, and 14 total bases. He's having a remarkable series at Frisco. He has been very, very good since he got called up to AA Tulsa in early June. The Millbury, Massachusetts High School Woolley, Ryan Ward, yes, his high school, he graduated with less than 100 kids. The high school that he went to, their name is the Woolies. He had his second 2-hit game in a row and his 30th multi-hit game of the year. He also had his team-leading 77th RBI and was on base 3 times, one of my favorite hitters. I say it every time I get a chance to talk to him. He hit over .400 for a season, the only Bryant Bulldog to do that. He backed it up the next year with an average of .385. This young man can hit. I think if you asked Andy Pages, he would probably tell you this hasn't been exactly the season that he was hoping to have here in 2022, but his power numbers still look very, very good. He had home run number 24 last night to score the first run of the night for Tulsa. He has hits in 3 games in a row, and is 4 for his last 6 with a home run, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, 3 runs scored, and 10 total bases. So Andy Pages, good to see him swinging the bat well. Jordan Leisure, the UT University of Tampa product, threw a perfect 1.2 innings to finish the game last night and secure victory for Tulsa. Leisure recorded his 6th save of the year and has a whip of just 1.12 for the year, and he has 79 Ks on the year as well to just 21 walks. So like I said, the UT grad Jordan Leisure from the Tampa area has been pitching very, very well. Great Lakes took a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the 9th, but gave up a 4 spot, then eventually lost in the 10th, 5-4 to the West Michigan Whitecaps, the high A affiliates of the Detroit Tigers. Just as an aside, Jackson Jobe started for the Whitecaps. He is from Oklahoma Heritage Hall High School in the Oklahoma City area. I've actually had a chance to coach against him and watch him play in person. He is very, very impressive. You are looking at Kendall Williams, the young man out of Mississippi, and then the IMG Academy in Florida. Turned in another great start for Great Lakes, going 5 innings. He gave up no runs and just 3 hits. His average against this month is just 111, and his whip is just 1.00. Aldrich DeYoung hit home run number 9 to give Great Lakes a 1-0 lead. I call him the lightning bolt because he came up to Oklahoma City towards the end of last year. I did not know who he was, had no clue. When he came up, he looked like a bolt of lightning as he was playing and running around the bases. He had a very good stint in AAA before he went back down, so I enjoy watching Aldrich DeYoung play baseball. I thought you might want to see the Dodgers' #1 prospect, Diego Cartier, make a great play. He back-ended a ball in the dirt, then he hosed a runner trying to steal second. He has a 70-grade arm, and I thought you might want to see it. On the great play, the accurate throw as he threw it to Austin Gauthier. Diego Cartier with a great play. Left-hander out of Syracuse, Jeff Belge, turned in another scoreless performance, which is his 7th out of his last 9 outings. His average against this month is just 182. The steal of the 2021 draft, Michael Hobbs, he was drafted in the 10th round of last year's draft, delivered his 6th scoreless outing in a row, 9th out of his last 11, and 12th out of his last 14. Like I said, the young man out of St. Mary's, drafted in the 10th round of the 2021 draft. He is a much better pitcher than that. He's been fighting injury. Since he's come back, he has been just lights out for Great Lakes. Yorbit Vivas had 2 hits and an RBI for Great Lakes and has hits in 3 of his last 4 games, so the left-hander Jorbit Vivas has been playing very good offense. Ryan Sublette has not allowed a run in his last 7 outings and 13 of his last 14 and 19 of his last 21 during that span. He has 36 strikeouts to just 10 walks. So the young man out of Texas Tech has been very, very good for Great Lakes. Single A Rancho Cucamonga lost 2 close games yesterday, but in very different fashions. The first game was a 15-12 slugfest, while the second game was a 2-1 pitcher's duel. Baseball is crazy sometimes the way it works. You get all these hits and all these runs in one game, and then the next game it seems like you can't buy a hit or a run. So baseball is crazy. You're looking at Jermaine Rosario, who was dealing last night for Rancho. He struck out 7 in his 4 innings of scoreless work in the second game since the beginning of July. He has 63 strikeouts in 43 innings. so his stuff has a lot of swing and miss to it. Infielder out of UCF, Alex Freeland, went 2 for 3 in the second game, including his third home run as a pro. Freeland is hitting .357 with the Quakes with an OPS of .1252 and has hits in all 7 games he's played in for Rancho, with last night being his third multi-hit game. J.D. Alonso went 3 for 6 with the Quakes in the first game and is hitting .333 so far in September with an OPS of .929. He is an 18-year-old from Panama that was signed just before spring training of 2021. So there you have it, J.D. Juan Alonso for the Quakes. This is a good look at Dalton Rushing out of Louisville, who went 2 for 4 in the first game yesterday that was played partly on Friday evening and then finished yesterday on Saturday. Rushing also had 4 RBIs in that first game and hit home run number 8 that you're seeing here for the Quakes. He's hitting .404 with Rancho with an OPS of .1262. I'm glad that you've tuned in to Dodgers Daily for September 11th, Sunday, on this day of remembrance. I also hope that you tune in tomorrow. I hope that you visit DodgerPokeReport.com or visit Dodger Poke on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. I also hope that you go to your podcast streaming service of your choice and you become a subscriber to our Dodgers Daily podcast. Hey, if you like this video, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Tell all your friends about it. Share this video and tell all your friends so we can keep providing you content like this in the future. As always, thanks for tuning in and go Dodgers.